Hi everyone, so today we're going to go over how I made this symmetrical model in Maya, and I'm not going to go too much into the modeling techniques, but I am going to show you the trick that I used so that I only actually had to model half of this character, and I end up with two halves. So let's get started. So the first step in creating a symmetrical model is to begin with your initial object. So I like to start with a cube when I'm modeling a person. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make this cube, and I'm going to create a division directly down the center of the cube, and this is going to be the center line of my model. So what you can do is over here in the channel box, you can go down into the inputs under your polycube, and it won't be expanded at first, but if you click on it, you can open up this attribute. And over here, this is where you change the default settings for this cube that you make. So by default, it's got a width, height, and depth of 1 unit. So I can go in here and change these numbers. Something like this. Maybe want to start it out to be a little bit taller. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But what we want to look at now is this subdivisions on the width. So if I make it a subdivision of 2, that's going to make a division directly down the center. And it has 2 subdivisions. All right, great. So what we want to do is actually take this model, and before we even do anything at all, I'm going to select half of it. Make sure I got all the sides on half of it, and we're going to delete them. Now I have half of my model that I'm working on, and what I want to do is to create a duplicate of this half that will maintain its connection to my original half, so that whenever I do work on one side or the other, it will be mirrored on the opposite side. So we can do that really easily using this tool called Duplicate Special, and it's under the Edit menu. So if you go Edit, Duplicate Special, and open that up, you have some options up here. Is what type of duplicate do you want to make? Do you want to make a copy, or do you want to make an instance? And in our case, in order to maintain that connection between the two halves, we want to make an instance. And then the other little detail is you want to scale your model across so it's mirrored. So in our case, this horizontal axis is the x-axis. So we're going to scale it -1 in the x so that it is mirrored across. And we just say Duplicate Special here, and now we have this copy where if we do anything to one side, it will be mirrored across to the other side. And now I'm ready to get in here and start working on my model. So I have this guy, and I built him using pretty basic tools, but you can see that as I'm working on one half, the other half is following. As I add in an edge loop, it gets added into the other side, right? So I'm pretty much done with him, and I'm ready to finish my model. So this is still 2 separate objects, and you need to be able to combine them. But this one is a special copy that's maintaining that connection. So we don't want that in our final model. What we want to do is take this half and get rid of it. And then we're going to do Duplicate Special again, but instead of an instance, we'll make a copy this time. So we say Duplicate Special, all the same settings with that mirroring in the X. So Duplicate Special. Now I have 2 copies that don't have that connection to each other. So what I need to do is take these 2 copies, combine them into one piece. So I use the Shift and right click menu to combine, but you can also go under Mesh, Combine. So it's the same thing. I'm combining it into one object. And now you might think that you're done, but take a look at this. There's still 2 separate pieces. Like the vertices in the center have not been merged together. So there's holes here, right? So what we need to do is take all these vertices in the center and merge them into one. So that's really easy to do if you go into the front view, go into wireframe mode, and you can drag select down the center of your model to grab all those vertices that are along that center line that need to be merged. And then you can go into your merge tool, so merge vertices tool, open up those options, and take a look at this threshold. What this means is that any vertices that are closer than 0.01 units from each other will merge into one piece. And that's great because we want to only merge the vertices that are directly on top of each other. So if I click merge here, and then I check these vertices down the center again, now we can see that there's no holes. So they've been merged into one. And that is how you make a symmetrical model.